Hey guys, we're going to just go ahead and jump right into the topic. So we're starting off on a freshly washed wig. We're going to go ahead and apply this dry texture finishing spray throughout the wig. And this is done prior to a blow dry while the hair is still wet so that the hair is able to absorb the product and just really benefit from the product as well. So you want to spend plenty of time blow drying. When you think you've finished blow drying, you really haven't. And it's really because the roots usually stay pretty damp. So you want to make sure you spend plenty of time. It could take you about 30 to 45 minutes to thoroughly dry a wig. So about halfway through, I went ahead and added this dry texture spray. Essentially, it's the same type of product as the initial product that I added. So I really love dry texture hairspray because it absorbs any kind of oil or impurities within the hair, increases the texture, and adds a little bit of fullness. This allows you to achieve the style that you're going for based on the texture, just improving the texture and the overall quality of the hair prior to applying any kind of hot tools or any other things like that. So the next step in the process is to go ahead and place my wig on my head. And I really do this so that I'm able to create my part in the exact place I would want it to be. And again, I'm doing all of this before I'm doing any kind of styling with hot tools or any products or anything like that. So here I'm just creating the part so that I can style based on where my part's gonna be. And then of course, I'm also creating my baby hairs here as well and making sure that they lay exactly where I'd want them to once the wig is on my head. Once I'm done creating my part and pulling out my baby hairs, I take the wig off and I place it back on my mannequin head, and I go back in and just really perfect the part and perfect the baby hairs, making sure that the shape of the part is exactly how I'd want it. Please keep in mind this is a wig that I have already worn, so I've already actually customized the wig, but I'm going in for further customization. I didn't show how I created this sectioning of hair. So essentially what I did was I sectioned off the hairline going into the part where I had placed the part in the wig, and I'm plucking behind the hairline. So I pretty much use a very light-handed motion with my tweezers, and I lightly pluck, and this is a very visual thing, and so I feel like I can go into plucking in a whole nother video because I do believe that plucking is a whole other skill in itself. So once I felt like I plucked enough hair behind the hairline, then I bring the section back and I go ahead and pluck in front of the hairline. And again, this is all very visual. It just depends on how you want your hairline to look. Next, I'm just pulling out the baby hairs. Again, I had already customized this wig, and so I was just kind of, as you could see, I wasn't very precise and crisp with my parting, but because, you know, some of the baby hairs are actually already cut, but you see how I kind of just pinned it out the way. That way I could go ahead and pluck the hairline. So that's what you see me doing here. I had already plucked behind the hairline, so I'm just plucking in front of the hairline here and just making sure everything is looking how I want it to look. Once I'm done plucking, I go ahead and part out the frontal, and then I clip back the hair in itself. And I'm going in and I'm gonna go ahead and just flat iron this frontal. In between each section, I'm going in with this hairspray. This is the Fantasia Firm Hold. It's actually called a liquid mousse. It's fire. It's an old school product, but it works amazing. You can really use any hairspray you want. But as you can see, I'm sectioning the hair and I'm using my hot comb to lay it down, slick it down, baby. I want my installs to be flat. It need to look like it's coming from my scalp. So now we're going to go ahead and prep our hair, head, whatever you want to call it, Of course, you want to make sure you have some braids. Make them flat. I be seeing people with chunky talking about 6 braids. No, do small braids so that your foundation can be nice and flat. I apply this wig cap, which is sheer leggings. Next, I cut holes at the center of my ears and pull my ears through. Now that the cap is where I want it to be, I'm applying my bold hold lace glue. So I'm essentially tracing my hairline, but I'm leaving about 1 to 1.5 inches of space between my hairline and where I'm placing the glue. Next, I'm using the metal end of a rat tail comb to spread the glue. I'm making sure I'm spreading the glue evenly, and I'm pushing the glue back towards my hairline, and I'm really trying not to go past the guide I've created by applying the glue on or near my hairline. Once the glue has dried, I go ahead and use small scissors to cut, but by here, I realize I like to actually powder my wig cap with a color or a shade of powder foundation that is closer to the color of my scalp, not my actual skin tone, but the color of my scalp. And I'm using the first shade in the Morphe 8R base palette. I went back in and continued to cut the wig cap, and I'm keeping the scissors really close to my scalp, pulling the wig towards me or towards the mirror so that I'm able to cut as close as possible. I'm now going in and placing the wig on my head, and we're just fitting her and basically placing the wig exactly how I'd want it to lay once the glue is on. As you can see, the lace is not giving natural, baby. This isn't the best lace in the world, so I had to make it work. I usually add this step, but I'm going in and using the exact same powder foundation I used. When I filmed, this was the night I was going to the Drake concert, so I did not let this wig cap glue dry all the way, so that's why you see the wig cap looking kind of crusty, but it does not change the quality of this install. Again, I'm just placing the wig exactly where I want it, and I'm slowly folding the wig back, keeping it trying to keep it as close to where I had positioned it. And I'm gonna go ahead and start applying the lace glue to my hairline. And so I do about 2 to 3 layers of this. And again, I'm making sure that I'm spreading thin and even. After about 15 minutes or so, you want to make sure you let the glue dry almost entirely, but you don't want to touch it, but you just want to view it, and it needs to honestly just be clear. So then I bring the wig forward, and again, I kind of just lightly plop it on my head, just very lightly. That way I can really see and envision how the wig will lay. So once it's exactly where I want it, I start pressing down. And you're going to see that the wig kind of looks like there's a lot of lace, but I'm placing the wig on where the glue is placed on my hairline, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess lace off. So for extra reinforcement, I'm using my comb to press the wig or the lace into the glue. Once the wig is placed into the glue, I go ahead and use a blow dryer to really just seal the deal and make sure that things stay in place. Next, I'm just cutting any excess lace, and again, I'm also pulling the lace towards the mirror and cutting as close to my skin as possible. As you can see in the right corner, there's a little bit of excess lace, but I kind of just left it there because one, my hair was going to be covering it, and then two, I would also have baby hairs covering it. So I was like, look, I'm not about to deal with that. I went ahead and just applied an elastic band to my hairline, and I pretty much left it on for about 15 minutes or so. You don't have to leave it on for that long, but I put it on for 15 minutes and went about and did a bunch of other stuff because, again, this was Drake evening, and I had so much things to do, and I was really rushing, hence my serious face throughout most of this video. As you can see, I pulled out my baby hairs, and I'm just going ahead and cutting them to my liking. So I'm using a flat iron with very small width for my baby hairs, and this was entirely too hot, so that's why my baby hairs look stiff as hell. But the purpose was still achieved, okay? Next, I'm going back in with this classic hairspray, the Fantasia Liquid Mousse Hairspray, and I'm using that to hold my baby hairs and then blow drying in place. Also, make sure you have a good baby hair brush that has both the comb and then the bristle brush ends. This really helps with molding and making sure that you have your baby hair shaped exactly how you want them. And one of the last things I do to seal the deal is I take the Liquid Mousse Hairspray, the Fantasia Liquid Mousse Hairspray, spray that on my fingers, and apply it to the lace along my hairline. That way it can kind of melt and blend into my skin. Here is how I look with the hair styled, and the last clip is of me right before the Drake concert. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching till the end, and I will definitely see you in my next video. Bye.